Well, it's not every day that we get this man in the big city of Auckland and carve out some of his time to jump on the podcast. But Andy from Abstract Timber Floors has come all the way up from the mount. It is good to see you as always, mate. I think this might be the second or third time I've had a bit of a jam on a pod. So looking forward to finding out what you've been up to.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me. I feel pretty honoured to come and sit here.
Yeah, good man. I think last time was 2023 via a Zoom call.
Was it?
Yeah.
Was it that long ago? 2 years ago?
Yeah, crazy how quick time goes.
So fast, eh?
Yeah. What's happening in Auckland, mate?
Here for a bit of work to help a friend out, just for the week, and that's about it. Seeing a bit of family, try and tee in a few catch ups with people while I'm here. Having a chat to you, Yeah, it's good. Nice.
And I guess for those who don't know who you are, tell us a bit about what you do and what your business does.
Right. So I own a company called Abstract Timber Floors, like you said. We're a specialist timber flooring trade business. We're based in Mount Maunganui and we service the greater Tauranga region up to Coromandel and then over towards Taupo. That's sort of our bigger catchment area. We don't really do too much work up in Auckland these days, just too much travelling.
Yeah.
I'm a builder by trade, so I guess that's my background. And I got into this about 7 years ago. And we do three main services. We have installing brand new floors of new builds and renovations, sanding and finishing old floors, and we do quite a lot of cleaning and maintenance of existing floors too. So, yeah. A very niche, it's just timber, that's all we do, but we try and cover everything there and be the go-to. That's really the plan.
Nice. What number staff member are you up to now?
We sort of fluctuated over the last couple of years. So there's two of us at the moment.
Yeah.
And we are taking on a second person, a school leaver. In November, hopefully, if all things kind of line up. He's come and done a gateway program with us.
Awesome.
And a local high school. Yeah. And there's a couple of guys that we kind of trialed and he stood out. And so he's just he's finishing school and just working through some challenge, like some stuff to get ready for the working world. And we're going to take him on. I'm going to put him through an apprenticeship. So that's really exciting and also a little bit different. I'm slightly outside my comfort zone. In that way, so that'll be good.
Good on you, mate. It must be a good feeling creating opportunities for people in the local community like that as well.
Yeah, totally. And like, it's such an awesome industry to be in. But most people or young fellas that come into trades, they want to go into the glory trades. They want to be builders, barkies, plumbers, and so I feel like it's not a dying profession, but it's a skills. It's a really a very intricate skill set that is probably slowly being diluted. So I kind of feel pretty strongly like if we could have like a really good training program through the company, that was always like something in the back of my mind that would be give back to the industry a bit.
Good man. Well, I think we did planning together over 2 years ago because I think it was March. I was trying to find the date, but I think it was March 2023.
Was it 3 years ago? Was it? I reckon it was earlier than that.
Maybe I've got this date wrong.
I know, maybe you're right.
It does feel like a while ago. But anyway, I dug out your old pre-work.
Anyway. Oh, really? Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to stitch you up
I forgot about that. Oh, right.
What keeps you awake at night? It's not even bad, but a lack of direction, too many ideas and thoughts, but no clear path. I'll tell you what is exciting in here as I was reading about what you want business to look like in 5 years' time. Now, I won't get into the specifics of it, but you're talking about having teams of tradesmen and running out of number of vans. You have some admin support, split my day between being on site and managing quality and provide solutions to problems, as well as site meetings and face-to-face with I think this is even on there. Face-to-face customer interactions. I like to be looking seriously at potentially running a flooring product. I think there was something in here about a small warehouse based in downtown Mount Maunganui with a small showroom meeting area to meet clients. And I feel like you've ticked so much of this off in less than 5 years.
Most of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's quite interesting to hear that.
Yeah, you might have to dig it back out. I can send you a copy if you like. But I think at the time when we were looking at all of this, right, you were like, I remember you learnt a lot, and we talked about that in an earlier pod, but you were at sort of hire number one, right? It was like, do you, don't you? So you'd just be grinding it out on your own.
Yeah.
And take us back to what hiring that first employee is like, because there'll be people listening to this and they'll be teetering on the edge, or they may have just started. Like, what's it been like, to go from just you to one to now effectively three, and then starting to roll out apprenticeships for people?
Yeah, if I think back to that time, I was on the verge of burnout, or constantly swinging in and out of that, and probably, I guess one of the reasons I reached out to you was because it was like I didn't know when is the time when I either felt like I had too much work for me and I was like struggling, I just need someone, or I felt like I didn't quite have enough work to support two people. But a lot of that was just like over analyzing the situation in my head, I think.
Yeah.
And you don't know what you don't know. So like your day-to-day is just, that's what your day-to-day is like. But now that I've got staff, my day can be so different, and I had never thought about that back then. I guess I was pretty scared. I was just like, I don't want to screw this all up. What if it all, and I felt quite responsible. Like taking on somebody is a responsibility. There's another family almost to feed.
Yeah, I was talking to a business owner today, and we were having this exact same conversation. So it's 2 years on, really? Longer, but they're in the position that you were 2 and a bit years ago, where the word they used was commitment. Once they bring this person in, then it's commitment, and we were trying to unpack, okay, what's the worry, and the worry is the uncertainty of the work not coming in. But then, much like you, they don't have any data to suggest that the work would slow down. And I could ask them rationally and logically, do you think that there'll be more projects and more work to do? And they're like, absolutely. I'm like, so then we don't really need to be worried about the certainty. But it's easier said than done, right? I think we're always constantly like, I think it's good to have a healthy skepticism of where things can get to. But really, you got the one, and then it was, the journey was only really just beginning. Yeah.
The fear definitely goes then. But then it's like, there's a whole lot of other learning that has happened since then about being a leader, being an employer, being a friend versus being an employer, and all of these different things. So, that was definitely like the start of the journey. But it's good. Lots of, I think if it kind of scares you a bit, it's probably good. Yeah. You should probably lean into it. I think with most things in life, probably that's the answer. But,
Big goals start with planning, and that's why we run 90-day business planning sessions one-on-one with aspirational business owners. Together, we help you set clear targets and start taking action straight away, and action on the things that matter, like pricing, margin, cash flow, ideal customers, and making sure that you're moving the needle to get closer to where you want to be. We've got tons of strong Google reviews in this space, so go and check those out. This could be perfect for you if you're after no fluff business planning and are keen on accountability. If you want to apply to book your 90-day plan, go to nextadvisory.nz and let's see if this is a good fit for you. Okay, so now that you are at 3 staff, how has your role as a business owner changed since those early days, do you think?
I think I'm still probably doing 70% of what I did then, because the nature of what I do and what I've come to realize is that I'm good at, getting off the tools is, I think it's like a goal for lots of tradies and stuff. I don't necessarily think that that's where my skill set is best utilized. Like I still think that I need to be kind of hands-on. So in some ways, but, I do have more time, and I have staff that can carry the job on. So, the work keeps getting completed, and I can dip out, have those site visits or meetings, showroom meetings, or yeah, I can work on the business development side a lot easier. It used to stress me out because I'd be like, oh, I've got to get all this work done. The deadline's Friday. Oh, but I've really got to go and I know that I need to go and see these people and line up this next work. But it was almost like it was just all stressful.
Yeah.
Whereas now I feel like it's like, oh, cool, I get to go and do that part. I really like that part. And I'm good at that part, the sales part, and I get to talk about what I'm passionate about, and that's, that part generally I feel you get like a bit of a win. You come away from a meeting, you're like, I smashed that was so good, and they were, you get some feedback, and then you go back to site. For me, I go back to site and I'm fizzed up, and then so that's like a good person to be around. When I'm like that, I'm a good, nice person to be around. You don't want to be all stressed. And, oh man, we're struggling. We're a few days behind, and this is the last thing I need right now is to go and meet this client. You don't want to turn up and be like in that mindset and that energy. Like they can tell.
Yeah.
They can tell that. Yeah.
There's a few things in there, and I think one is like, do you reckon tradies want to be off the tools, or maybe they just actually want the option to be off the tools? So, for you can sort of identify that because you didn't have the option to be off the tools, then it was stressful, then we're talking burnout, then when's this ever going to end? It's a never-ending cycle. But, the thing that I've noticed of you and like a lot of high-performing tradies is you're actually really good at what you do, and you actually do want to do some of it, but not have the feeling of the fact that you can't ever get away from it. And that's what then makes you really good at selling it as such, if we're to use that term, because you're passionate about it and you're good at it. So then when you go and talk about it, the people that want it done are like, well, this is a no-brainer. Like, let's do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe it's like there's certain parts of the job that I enjoy. There's a bunch, let's say there's like 50%, which is like grunt work. It's like unloading the van, doing this, doing that. There's probably a certain percentage of the job that I would want to be involved in, and it's the trickier stuff, or it's the set out, or it's the just making sure that the weeks are, that the jobs are flowing. And so that's where I'm at the moment anyway. That's working really well.
Yeah.
I sort of set the jobs up, set the clear expectation of what we're going to do, what we're going to aim for, and midweek, end of week, and then just try and support as best I can, whether that's me physically doing the work because it's a larger job and we need to get through it, or if it's like, hey, I've set you up and we're going to, I'm going to dip off midweek and do this other small thing, or yeah.
And has it forced you to be more consistent with business development, etc., and getting better at that, knowing, okay, it's not just you, there's other mouths to feed? Because I feel like a lot of business owners, we have the same conversation all the time where there's this chasm of but if I hire someone, I'm sort of going backwards, they're going to rely on me. How do I know that the work's going to come in? And I don't know how to articulate to them, you will figure it out. Like you will be fucking forced to figure it out.
Yeah. Because it will keep you up at night if you're feeling light on the books, right?
Yeah.
You're exactly right. Like you're just, I feel like I was pretty good at that to begin with. I kind of was forced to because we shifted from Auckland to the Mount, and then it was like basically setting up a brand new business again. And so I had to get my name out there. So I was already doing like the cold calling and all that stuff. So I just tried to, obviously it ebbs and flows, but I would always try and call like 1 or 2 builders a week, let's say, or touch base with people that potentially I hadn't talked to for a bit, and just try and stay front of mind. But yeah, you're right. When it's like, when you're powering through the work and you're like, okay, a few weeks out or a couple of months out, we're looking a bit light. You get on the phone. Yeah. But that's, you've kind of got to back yourself.
Yes.
You will, the whole scarcity mindset, abundance mindset, you have to, I think I've naturally always had that.
Abundance.
I think that I've always had like this weird belief that I was like, I can do it.
Yeah.
We can do this, Nice.
And
I think you have to have that, that you just have to know you'll make it work.
Yeah. It's funny, because then you hear from so many people who are the other way, but they're so convinced of it. But the people who are convinced of it working are normally quieter about it, and they just go about it and carry a different level of energy. Or, your answer was basically, you just get on the phones. But if you tell someone who thinks that it can't be done, oh, you need to get on the phone. They're like, that doesn't work.
Yeah,
and there's this real, I find, on what I've been thinking about recently is that through this recession and this tough economic time, there's going to be increased inequality between the action takers and the non-action takers, effectively.
Yeah.
And part of it, I think, and this is way oversimplified, but there's a group of people that have a belief that it can't be done, and then they're getting left behind and letting themselves get left behind. And then you've got people who are going, well, I'll just try something different. I'll call that person. I will get 6 no's, but then the 7th one is a yes, and they're taking action, and they're thinking, oh, actually, it can still be done.
Yeah.
But there's just going to be, at the end of this, when the economy picks up again, I don't know when that'll be, but it'll be so clear like who stayed consistent and did the work and how many people actually end up getting left behind.
Why do you think that is?
That people don't take action, or
why do you think that they're so steadfast in their belief that the world is all cooked and they can't change anything about it?
Yeah, I think there's a few things. Like one, just purely beliefs, but those beliefs have to come from somewhere, right? So they've probably never thought about, like you've made a conscious decision to think about scarcity versus abundance and then like do some thinking about that. I think a lot of people don't actually think, but they think that they think, but they actually just believe what someone tells them.
Yeah, right.
And so then their belief is, oh, this can't be done. So if we come along and say, oh, actually you could do this, they go, well, no, because now you're basically saying, like you're conflicting with their belief. So then they've got to defend their belief as such.
Right.
There's definitely pockets of the economy and businesses where it is just really tough. But I think as well, like it forces you to be somebody who you may not necessarily have been taught how to be or want to be because it's uncomfortable.
Right.
And, you know, like a question that I had for you is sort of along those lines of like, what have you had to change about yourself to grow the business?
I feel like that's a deep question.
Oh, it is. But that's what I wanted to ask you because I know that you've done
Yeah.
the work, you know, and I think this is the perfect time to bring it in. A lot of these people, like they won't do the work, where I know that you're always looking for something else to do a bit more work on yourself to change who you
Yeah.
are, and therefore you get different results in the business.
Yeah. I think I realized that, I think you talk about it quite a bit. Maybe it was through some of your content, but like I needed to change who I was in order to be at that place.
Yeah.
At the place that I wanted to be in order to grow. Like it wasn't just changing the world around me to bring it to me. Does that make sense? Like
Yes.
I had to change me to then be the person that was like deserving or whatever of that.
Yeah.
Of whatever I wanted, right? So how am I, what was your question, sorry? How am I different now?
Yeah, what have you had to change about yourself to grow the business?
Done a bunch of stuff that was really scary and hard. And
nice.
but then you do it and then you realize, oh, it's not that bad. And like cold calling. I always keep thinking back to like cold calling builders for some reason, or people in general. Like I have these memories of sitting in my car and just like my heart rate going through the roof and just being like psyching myself up and then just being on the phone and my voice is all wavery and I'm just, I think I'm terrible and
Yeah.
and then like you say, you get a bunch of no's and you're like, okay, so it's not too bad. But then you might get some people that are like, wow, this guy's just called me out of the blue. And I'll give you a shot, mate. Like, oh, we got a job coming up. I'll send you some plans, and more often than not, it was that way. So then like the proof is there that it's like, oh, I can do this, if I just push through. I really didn't want to do it. I really, really didn't want to do it. Even like sitting down sometimes like this, I find it quite stressful, like it's just, I think I'm probably an introvert and I can be extroverted when I need to be and when I'm talking to clients or we're doing whatever, but in general. So yeah, I think probably just pushing through some stuff that was scary or and also uncomfortable, and also just like stop over analyzing it. I think there's a point where you just got to take action and just say, like for the lead, like you were talking about what I had planned for 5 years, like having a warehouse. We're on to our second one now, but when we were doing the first one, it was, we're looking at the lease and it's going to the lawyers and you start analyzing it and you're like, oh my God, that's a lot of money. Okay, that's this much a week. This is, and you can kind of overanalyze it and you're like, if I'm spending that right now it's going to be a little bit uncomfortable, but you're not thinking about like, if I have that, I'm going to be able to, potentially going to be able to grow to here, to here, to here. And then I don't even think about it now. It's just part of a business expense,
Nice. Yeah.
But that was very challenging and uncomfortable, because you're signing up to this long term, 2-3 year term,
Yeah. Yeah, I think you go through this journey where you go from, okay, you worry about all the little details to, does this really matter? Okay, take some action. You take the action, you realize those things didn't really matter, and there's all these other things that you didn't even think about that actually matter. You then have to solve those things back there. Then you think, sheesh, why was I even worried about them? You then go do it a second time, and then you go, oh, this is easy the second time because actually I've already thought about these things. So, and then the whole thing just snowballs on itself. And I think what I was going to say, the piece that I missed is with the people who are stuck in those bad beliefs. I think as well that they don't collect enough data. Like for me, the way that I beat bad beliefs is find somebody who doesn't believe it, and then I want to know from them, like, okay, how do you not believe this? Because I was taught this, or I believed this. And then I don't want to like hear them and say, oh, but that doesn't work for me, because I want to go, oh, okay, what could I learn from that? And it's that curiosity piece, because I think what people do is they don't do enough reps to then build up confidence to even have any data, to then have a good enough sample size to actually have a belief backed by that information.
Experience.
So, they will make one phone call and they'll get a no and they'll go, that doesn't work. And you and I would laugh at that and go, okay, well, that's not how it works.
Yeah.
I did a flyer drop once. We did, 10 flyers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, now hang on, so that's, I think part of it too, is that we don't want to do things that are uncomfortable because it's scary. So then we don't do them. But if we do, then we get more comfortable with it. We collect enough data to the point where you go, oh, this works. And I think my best example is probably from last week, where there's a young fellow who's doing 90 days at the moment, and I said he needs to go through his Xero and contact all of his past customers. There's 50 there. And he was like, didn't want to do it. But just like you're saying, he's like, I'm going to have to do it. So he basically sits down and starts going through. He got 16 no's back to back.
On the phone?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, but credit, still dialing it,
Yeah.
And then 17, 18, 19 all say, I need you to come price a job.
Wow.
Crazy,
How cool's that?
Yeah. So really, he's looking at a way higher percentage than if he stops at 16. It's like 100% of the data there's nothing there.
Yeah.
But I said to him as well, like, you've planted the seed there because they are now thinking about you where they wouldn't have. So you don't know what fruit's going to come from that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not quantifiable, eh?
No.
Just being front of mind.
Yeah.
It's important.
And on that, like what, two things like margins and marketing, I feel like you've really leant into that in your business journey and had to learn more about it. For tradies out there who may be stuck in with this or trying to think, okay, how do I make some progress? What has worked well for you? And I think you've got a beautiful frame of reference where you've had to go into a new area and go, right, well, if you do nothing, you're buggered.
Yeah.
So you basically started from absolutely zero. So your back's against the wall, you're forced to get out there. But over this last few years, like what have you noticed that has worked quite well for both? We'll start with marketing and then maybe margin to become that person that can maybe, you don't have to compete on price and all of that yuck stuff that just drains you.
Yeah. I think I pretty quickly realized that I could be really busy but not profitable. So I think branding is really, really important. And I've made a really conscious decision and effort to try and build a brand from day one. As opposed to, so I'm part of that brand and I am the face of that brand. But that brand is bigger than just me, and that's what I'm always, when I'm posting content, I would always use the words, even when it was just me, I'd be like, we are doing this, we are, I was always trying to
talk how you would go, like where you were going to end up anyway.
Yeah. Dress for the job you want, not the job you have, right? I was like, that's where I'm going. We are this company. Like it's a we, even though I would always talk about it like I was this company, but I guess I was a sole trader. You know, like if you looked at it from that other perspective, it's like, oh, it's just some dude in a van on his own. But I was like, this company, this is what I'm building, you know?
Yeah, nice.
And so I guess I've been pretty relentless with the branding. And we're trying to, So with that, I think it's really important. With your brand, you can set yourself, you can sort of position yourself in the market however you'd like, you know? If you want to do like high volume, low margin, and that's in lower skill, and that's your bread and butter, cool, and you've got 20 guys and whatever. But I was always like, I want to do less work for more profit, because my biggest issue is that I'm just me, or finding really skilled people, and what I do specifically is quite difficult. So I knew that, what I need to do is I need to figure out who my ideal client is, and then everything that I'm putting out there has to be sort of created with that frame of reference in mind. I'm not just putting out content. I am putting out some content for like my peers, because we've got a really cool industry. I'm sure lots of different trade industries have, there's little pockets of all these different businesses that learn off each other, and ours is exactly the same. But a lot of the time it's who's going to see this, and how are they going to perceive my business through this content, and that's why we rebranded, because the brand wasn't really speaking to the right people. Yeah, it was a little bit too, just a bit. It was fine. It did its job. I think a brand is like the logos and stuff like that. I don't think like you can build a really good business with a really terrible logo. Like it doesn't actually matter. But I think we got to the point where it was like, okay, we want to be more thought of as more of an architectural, high-end boutique company. Yeah. So let's design everything that it's all together. It all has to kind of work together.
Yeah, nice.
Did that answer your question?
Yeah. But that achieves both things, right? Because it allows you to find your ideal client who's willing to pay for value and specialist and knowledge, and okay, do it well, make sure I'm happy. That achieves margin. Yeah. And then branding helps secure that too, rather than just kind of, we'll be around, we'll do it, rip shit and bust. Oh well, you pay for what you get. Yeah. Yeah, totally. Yeah. And I even noticed, you've got the beautiful number of 69 Google reviews.
Did you see that today?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just got one yesterday, I think.
Good man. How do you get those? Because like a lot of tradies and people in construction and whatnot, it's like, oh, nah. Why is that important, and how have you made that a process?
Just relentlessly asking for them.
There it is.
It's just, and we've been doing it 7 years, and we've got 70 reviews maybe, so 10 a year. That sounds terrible. That's not much, less than one a month. I go through like what I'm going to do probably next week when I'm back in town, back home. I'll go through last month's jobs, and I'll just have a look, and I'll just fire out some messages just to say, hey, look, I'm just checking in. Yeah. Just wondering if you could please leave us a Google review, because it really helps, and it really does help, And I think it's so important, because it's one of those. It's like there's all these little legitimizers that a client or a customer will look for. They'll look at your website. Yeah. Do you have a social presence? Do you have, there's all these little things, and the Google reviews, I think at the moment, AI might change all of that, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And a lot of people are searching with chat now. So I'm looking at, okay, how do we get our business recommended through chat? Is it looking at Google reviews? What else is it looking at? Yeah. But yeah, just be relentless, and just be shameless, and just be honest as well. Just be authentic. Like, it really helps me. Can you please do it?
Yeah.
And then most people I find, I ask probably, I'd probably chase someone up like once or twice, maybe, if I really was like, hey, look, we'd smash this job. This would be a great review to have. And then if they don't come back to you, then, oh, well, that's fine. Yeah. Like, everyone's busy. Like, you got to, it's not a personal thing. It's not that you did a bad job or anything. It's just like everyone's busy, man.
What I've seen some people doing, and there is a little bit of, you're not supposed to do that, because you're not supposed to incentivize reviews. I think what that is don't run gamified competitions to then get a shitload of reviews quickly. But some clients will offer a monthly draw, and so then they'll say, oh, hey, everybody who enters, like each month we do a monthly draw for that that month, and somebody gets a $200 voucher. I feel like that speeds it up a little bit.
Like for every review? Like you go in the draw if you leave a review?
Yeah. So say August is August, September, October, November. Yeah. And I think it like a little bit of a carrot for people to go, oh, okay. Because you know that every now and then when you click on it, it's like you're not logged in, and so you just go, it's too hard, maybe later.
Yeah.
But when it's like, okay, I could win $200 here, it might just be enough to get people to go, through that pain barrier.
Yeah. I don't know. Are you allowed to do that with Google? They did a big deletion recently. I don't know did you get hit with that?
Nah.
Well, they did a bit of, we got all of them back that they deleted of ours because I know that mine are all legit.
Yeah.
Didn't, but I guess they were having issues with people paying for them or.
Yeah. I was just trying to remember. I'm pretty sure some of ours went missing, but it was actually a glitch, and then they came back. So, but I don't think it was about that. I was like, maybe it is part of that. But I remember reading into it, and I think they were getting rid of inactive Google accounts, I think.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
And all the
like
associated reviews with that. I guess that would make sense.
But I think when people are like leaving a written, like some of yours have got images, people are like leaving a proper review.
That's because I asked for them.
Oh, nice.
So at the very bottom, I actually copied this from someone else. I can't remember who it was, but it says brownie points, in brackets, brownie points if you leave a photo. And that's it. And that's like, most people, if it was me, I would be like, oh yeah, get some brownie. That's like a little challenge.
Yeah.
Like, I can do that.
Yeah, and they're probably proud of their work that you've done for them too.
And it's even better, right? Because people, if that customer that's had us in, we've done the work, they're so proud of they're so stoked with the end product that they take the time to write a review, take photos, and put it online. Like that's like a glowing reference.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's really totally. I think that's super powerful.
Let's go back to say those people. If you were to take yourself back to a couple of years ago, if you were talking to someone who's right where you are 2 to 3 years ago, what would you say to them? They're at that sort of, do I do my first hire? How do I get out there and get a bit more work? I want to be achieving more. This is frustrating me that I'm not quite there yet. What advice would you have for them?
I would say lean into it. I would say just take action. I just think that I don't know, that's just seems to be the answer for most stuff, because if it seems really daunting and scary, you'll either realize that it is or it isn't. If it's going to work, you'll realize a lot faster that it's going to work. And if it isn't going to work, then you'll realize a lot faster that it's not going to work, and you can focus your efforts on something else, So I don't know if that's a very good answer. I mean, it's a tough time right now too for a lot of different, trades, different businesses, but trades as well. So I don't know. I feel like I've always been quite conservative in some ways. Yeah. Like even though I'm like, lean into it, just spend the money. It's like you kind of have to, there is like a middle ground.
Yeah.
You don't want to over leverage yourself with buying ranges and all the rest of it.
I think as well, though, one piece that I always forget to bring up in these, like you did quite a bit of work, and we did together as well, to like understand that tax piece and profitability and whatnot. So then that advice is easier once you understand that, because I think you're right. You start worrying about those people that are going to lean into it, take more action, and then just keep blowing up something that's not actually already working.
Yeah, right.
But with you were profitable, had some money aside, didn't exactly know, okay, what's my tax obligation here? How does this thing even work? And then you could learn about it, and you're like, oh, I can get a handle of this. And it's almost like for people that do have money coming in, it's a good sign, okay, and you're able to put some aside, that it's probably profitable. But I think you need to go a layer deeper. Not saying you, but I mean like you did. But people need to go a layer deeper to understand a profit and loss and profitability, margins. Oh, okay, I better then put some tax aside. Oh, I'm getting more familiar with this. I got August, I got January, I got May. Oh, I've been thinking about cash flow. I've learned about that stuff. And I think those are those basics. And once those basics are done, then a lot of business becomes easier. But we do that bit, like for a lot of people, they do that bit last. Or when something breaks.
Yeah, right, when they need help.
Yeah.
Cash the cash flow forecasting that you taught me, that's huge. Yeah. Because you can lean on that. If you wanted to make a purchase, or if you want to make a decision that involves your capital and what you want to do with it, I've gone back to that multiple times.
Yeah,
just to see, okay, so, if on our current trajectory, what does it look like?
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's just like on a hope and a prayer kind of, or I do think a lot of people have good intuition.
Yeah.
Or maybe some people have good intuition for stuff like that,
Yeah. It's interesting. I was talking to Alex last week or the week before. She was doing 90 days around the same time as you. She is importing a multi-million-dollar helicopter and just rocks her own cash flow still. Like, learnt about it back then. I'm like, I assume you've she's run that through the cash flow. She's like, yeah, everything goes through the cash flow, and like she's been forced to. That's a business where you can't not learn about it. But I think it's cool where like more people need to understand that they can actually learn that part. I think it's that's not for me. I don't do accounting. I don't do math. I don't do numbers.
Maths or something.
Yeah, it's like literally money in, money out.
Yeah. There's power in that as well when you understand what's going on. Because if you don't know that, like that you don't know that.
Yeah.
And you're just like, it'll be right.
Yeah.
I've got all these other things to keep me busy, and I need to go. But it's probably uncomfortable to go back and be like, okay, I'm not so good at this. I need to actually recognize it, tell myself, be honest with myself that I'm not very good at this and I need to learn this.
Any major mindset shifts over the last few years?
Heaps.
Yeah.
I'm a completely different person, I feel.
Nice.
But I don't know if that's like in business, but also in life. Like it kind of all goes hand in hand. Growth, personal growth.
I feel like business forces us to grow up and to grow personally, right? Like there's a good saying that your business will never outgrow your own personal self-development. I feel like that's so true.
Yeah, that's really good.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess it all comes back to the piece of, you need to be the person. You need to change you first.
Yeah.
And then everything else will all change.
And I think it's particularly relevant at the moment because like you and I know that, right? So, if you're running out of work, you don't wait for the OCR to drop. You pick up the phone and you call people. Like you've got to do something because if you don't, you literally are going to have anxiety.
Yeah.
And so we understand, okay, when the internal changes, it creates the external. But yeah, I think it's really common for people to believe that the external creates the internal. And unless you do a bit of that deep work, that sounds simple, but it's probably actually really hard for people to understand.
Yeah, and to believe.
Yeah.
Because it's one thing to say something and another, like you say, there's like a nice quote that I like, I think it's Hormozy, create an undeniable stack of evidence that you are who you say you are.
Yeah.
And I keep coming back to that. It's like in business that we are who we say we are. Just keep stacking that, don't cut corners. This is who we are. Keep stacking it.
Nice.
And I think personally as well, because then, like you say, you're creating proof that works, right?
Yeah.
But it's from you. It's not from outside. It's not. It's not stack all the information from Facebook groups that other people are telling you that everything's fucked and everything's gone to hell and you can't and the government's gonna whatever. It's like you have to do that work yourself, and you can't tell people. You can't tell people that.
No.
Because you just come across people have to find that for themselves, I think. I don't know.
But also, then you get the external to help validate it to then dismiss some of the bullshit that comes your way, i.e., we've got enough data of the work that we've been doing of people going through our services and paying it. If someone's like, oh, that's expensive, I'm like, it can't be. Because all these people have paid for and left these Google reviews, so who's got the problem? I got the problem or you? Like, maybe I haven't articulated the value. Like, how that literally is the question now. I'm not like, no, it's not expensive. Oh, trust me, it's really good. I'm like, oh, I'm confused because you said you've got this problem. We can help you with it. There's all these people that have paid for it and given us a glowing review. Therefore, the whole frame of it is completely different where you get to back yourself a lot more as well.
Right.
And same with, your Google reviews. If you didn't collect those, it's harder for you to justify to someone who is skeptical of you to trust you, but you inherently know, well, I don't know why this person doesn't trust me when 69 other people are posting pictures from their home, of trusting us. So then these people that question you almost become outliers because you build up so much data yourself to back up the belief that you already had of yourself.
Sure. And then their opinion, you just go, oh, okay. Well, there's someone
That's
else
fine.
out. There's someone else out there that's a better match for you in this service or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's not us, and that's cool.
Yeah.
But I used to take that quite personally at the start.
I think everyone does.
Yeah, I guess that you kind of you can't help it, eh?
Yeah, and I think as well, it's like the old the other thing people fall into, and you see it all the time, especially in the trade space, is like, oh, I better say yes to it because if I don't, then what am I going to miss out on? But
yeah. Even when your gut's telling you,
don't do this.
Your gut, you know, and it's always that job you go back to, and you're there, and there's overruns, and you're there, and you're just like, I knew this was not going to be good,
And it erodes
every
you.
time.
Yeah.
I think that's something that I've learned is to say no. That was really powerful.
Nice.
Because I'm a people pleaser.
Yeah.
And so learning to, not be pushed around and stand up for myself and be able to say, hey, I'm not comfortable doing that. I'm not, that little extra, or while you're here, can you do this? Actually, that's not in the scope of work. That's not what we discussed.
Nice. Unpack that for us, because I've literally talked to a business owner about this last week, the exact same thing, and they're early in business, so you'll really help them because I think they'll listen to this. So how did it feel that first time that you had to say to somebody, when they say they're like, oh, well, while you're here, Andy, can you just bloody knock out 3 walls and do this for us, mate?
Yeah.
What did it feel like that first time where you had to say, you know what, I'm going to stand up for myself and tell them like no, and how'd you do it?
Just scary, really. Yeah, heart going, just heart thumping and just, and I probably wasn't very decisive about it. It was probably just, and then eventually, look, I'm really sorry. Like I would always apologize.
Yeah. Like it's your fault.
Like it's my fault that that you can't get this free service from me. That I don't understand it now. But yeah, I think I probably just practiced it. I guess did it a few times, and then I was like, you know what? It's a perfectly okay response to say, hey, look, we're actually over capacity right now, and I can't fit that work in. I'd love to help you, but I can't. If that's the reason, or I don't feel comfortable doing X, Y, Z.
Yeah,
I think that's a really powerful statement because it's like it's not personal. Well, hopefully it's not taken as being personal, but I don't feel comfortable doing that. Maybe that does get taken personally actually, but
I say like that's not an area we specialize in or even like focus on.
Right.
And I think, or even it's not sometimes flippantly like that's not really in our wheelhouse.
Yep.
I think people are like, I think their perception is that you just do it and solve it because they trust you, and then when you actually help them then find who might be able to do it, like, okay, fine. But
yeah, I think that's a key to that too, is like to try and find a solution. Yeah. Also, because then you're
still adding value too.
Exactly, to that interaction. You're still providing value. You're still the master of the whatever topic you're talking about. But you're like, hey, look, actually these guys do that really well, and I've met them on another site or whatever. Maybe give them a call. Yeah, I've tried to. It is a bit of deflection, I guess.
Yeah.
But
it's funny how we feel so bad about this stuff.
I still. Nah, I don't feel bad about it now.
Well, like where it's just it's one of those things you have to like learn about. Whereas a lot of people are just like, no.
Yeah. Well, you reckon a lot of people would say that? I reckon it's Kiwi culture. Is to be like, oh, sorry, whereas some other cultures like would just be like, no.
Yeah, we definitely are people pleasers, and I reckon we get taught a scarcity instead of abundance. So then we get taught sort of you got to say yes to everything because like you never know what could come of it, which is a fucking cool saying. But geez, like what if burnout comes of it? What if like eroding my self-confidence? What if running my business into the ground? What if missed opportunity cost of not doing the stuff I wanted to do?
Yeah, exactly.
There's never. It's like it's always shaped as a real positive, and so then we're like, I better not say no. Yeah.
Maybe early on.
Yeah.
Maybe early on that mindset is really helpful.
Yeah.
Like, yes, like there's a bunch of jobs where I didn't want to do it, but the client was right. This was earlier, maybe doing something really small and you're like, this is not profitable. This is not really where I should be spending my time. But, what has led from that could be a larger job or this, that, or the other. So like there are other opportunities that come from that, but I think it's just recognizing where your capacity is. And if you start saying yes when you can't say yes, that's when you start,
It's a slippery path.
it eats away at you. Yeah. Because then I mean, it's something I'm still learning how to do because we have some really good clients, and and sometimes they'll call up and say, hey, can you do this? And I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
But like really no, but yes, because this is the reason that
It's more
you're
strategic.
calling me, is because you know that I'm going to try and help you. You're a good client and I'm going to try and keep you.
Yeah.
So there's also that too, which is a bit tricky. I guess that's probably different across each industry, but
sometimes
construction is a bit.
Yeah, I think sometimes it's strategic, right? Like yes for this person, but no to the market.
Yes,
it's like okay,
and that's what we're doing right now.
Yeah.
We're saying no. We're saying, look, our lead time is, February next year, and that's like engineering a no because they're like, oh look, we want it done before Christmas. That's totally fine. I understand that. I just wanted to be upfront with you.
Yeah. I was saying to this business owner the other day, one of the easiest ways, or like in our world in law and accounting and whatnot, is basically, that's outside of the scope of what we were going to be doing.
Yeah.
Happy to look at doing it. However, there'll be a fee for it. And I said it's pretty, especially in the industry that they're in, it'd be pretty unreasonable for someone to be like, like most people, as long as you communicate it. So I said what they could do too, because this might just help some other people, is at the start, if this keeps happening, like tell people from the start, hey, if there are other things that pop up once we get started on this, then the fee may change because it's going to end up being outside of what we've agreed to here and now. But I'm not going to know until we start. Then they've got a bit of a heads up that, okay, this quote may not actually be what it is. And the example I gave was, it's like when we go and get a warrant of fitness, right? Like they don't just go, oh, all good, mate. You've got your warrant. I put on 2 tyres. Cam belt was buggered. Changed the oil and stuff. You owe me $3,500. Like, whoa, sorry. I was just coming for a warrant of fitness. Oh, well, you can't get it without that. So we just did it. Normally they ring you right and say, hey, we've found this. Would you like us to do it? Oh, by the way, like we might be able to get you a cheaper part or whatever. And I think they do it quite well in that space.
Right.
And then the other thing, I reckon one of the best things to do is if you have situations like that keep popping up, or the other way to think about it is objections to a price or sales or whatever, practice your objection handling. So know that situation could happen. And you said like you'd practice it by doing the reps. You can also practice outside, of the arena, right? So it's like, okay, if I ring this client and they say X, Y, Z, like, what am I going to say? And so then you've got some pre-written examples so that you can, okay, like this is what I'm going to say. You practice saying it. Or if Bob asked me just before I'm about to leave, hey, could you do this as well? Okay, what's the exact thing you're going to say? Because all that happens for the likes of yourself or me once you do the reps is then you know what to say and it's more comfortable when you've got the data, going back to what we were talking about earlier on, right?
Yeah, right.
The reason we don't do it, I think, is because we don't have the data, it's unfamiliar, we don't know what to say, and so then the situation happens and we go, oh, shit, yeah, I can do it. Yeah.
Because that's easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll just keep them happy.
And like, what if I say no and they, I don't know, insert whatever crazy idea, right? But it's like, what if they hate, what if they don't like me? That's probably like the real thing. It's like, we don't want to be disliked by people.
Yeah.
But it's just professional. Like as long as you do it in a courteous and professional manner, it's like, look, happy to help you. Like we'll price something up.
Well, thinking back to when we did the first session together, I flew down to the Mount because I was going on a stag do. And I sat next to Adrian Orr.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Remember, because I picked you up from the airport and you're like, you'll never guess who I just sat next to.
And he was like, oh, so what are you doing? And I'm thinking, and I said to him, I was like, oh, I'm going down to help a client hopefully learn how to hire their first person. Meanwhile, you're trying to increase unemployment. You're trying to take people out of jobs. I'm trying to teach them how to hire people.
Yeah.
And
he was in the hot seat then, eh? That was like right in the middle of it.
Yeah. And unemployment then was 3.5%. It's now 5.2.
Wow.
That's pretty crazy, yeah.
Yeah, that's a huge increase.
Yeah, that's a lot of people. I think you think of all the people who have gone to Australia, especially in your industry, in that construction and trades and whatnot, just like a real glut of good quality people that could be amazing employees if the opportunities were here, but they're not at the moment, so they're out of here. But yeah, quite funny, to think. So we're still going hard. Unfortunately, he's just
Gone, but he's getting a good payout.
Yeah, so I read. Yeah, probably earning more than you and I in 6 months. But anyway, what I was going to ask is, what are you most proud of when you look back on your journey so far?
I'm proud. I think I'm proud of I guess I'm proud of the business that I've built. I'm proud of the person that I am now when I look back.
Nice.
You know, like I feel like a drastically different person now. And and having the business and having that as such a core focus of my life and my family's life is probably like the catalyst to all of that other growth, like what we were talking about. I'm proud of what my kids get to see their dad doing. And I know sometimes, you know, there's always a bit of a ebb and flow of like potentially overworking and then you know, as long as there is an ebb and flow and it's not just one way, I'm proud. Like last year I had 10 weeks off. You know, we had a couple of big trips. So I've been able to be successful or do, you know, the business is doing well and growing in a time that for a lot of people is very tricky. And I did that.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
And, I don't really get to think about that very often, but like I did that, and that's really cool.
Yeah,
you know?
it's powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I hope people reflect on that at home, because recently someone was asking me, you know, am I proud? And I'm like, fuck yeah. You know, like, because I think it's so non-Kiwi, right? And I was listening to a podcast recently where someone asked them that question, and they were like, oh, they've had an amazing career, and they're like, oh, something I don't really think about, and I don't, you know, want to. I'm like, nah, fuck that, man. Like, you should be proud, you know. And I think business owners, it's like we let sports people be proud when they win stuff, but business owners, it's always, you can have wins and milestones, but don't celebrate it too much, or you know, don't tell anyone, keep your head down. Don't go around saying you're proud of it. You know, it's a bit weird. And, you know, we've even got a caveat, it's a tough time at the moment and whatnot. You know, like we've got to be mindful of that, because it's just so uncommon for Kiwi people to do. But there's always the people that are pumped and inspired by that.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's like conditioning that I've had to try and get out of me.
Yeah.
It's like the tall poppy thing is really, it's powerful.
Yeah.
So, I've tried very hard to be like, it's okay. It's okay for me to do well. Yeah. It's not something to be ashamed of. I work really, really hard. I've worked so hard to get here, you know, and that's also part of it, because I know how much work that I've put in to get to this point, you know. And like, it's okay. We should be celebrating this way more. Yeah. Like we really should. And like, I'm the biggest cheerleader for other mates that are in business. Like, hell yes, like go. You know, like how good is that? But it's almost like we can talk to each other, but we don't want to talk to anyone else. We don't want to tell anyone else that things are going good or bad or whatever. You know, it's like it can feel like quite a lonely endeavor sometimes. You know,
what I was reflecting on today, which I find quite funny, you know, like building up quite a big following with Keep the Change, and talking about success I might be having or milestones or whatever. The people who have been on the journey for ages. Like stoked for you, you then fear that you're like out of touch with the people that are newer to the following. But for as much as you're like worried about talking about it, when you do, the negative people are like, well, like that shit, but they don't even care anyway. So then you're thinking, oh, why am I worried about talking about success or achieving things? The people that are excited by it are stoked for you.
Right.
And then the people who probably never get there anyway want to tell you, oh, that's not even important. You're like,
they want to pull you down.
Yeah, like, okay, well, cool.
But do you care about the opinion of someone like that?
Nah. So. And I think like there's both are kind of right, where it's like, you know, I just think everyone's running their own race and doing their own thing. If that person's achieving what they want to be, like awesome. But why aren't you brave enough to talk about it? You know, instead they would rather have a crack at a business owner or somebody doing something to tell them like, oh, that's actually not that important.
Yeah,
like, man, what a bad, unhealthy mindset.
Yeah, but do you think deep down it's because they know that maybe they're unfulfilled, or maybe they haven't reached their potential that they, or maybe they know that they haven't that they're maybe inherently a bit lazy, they haven't put the work in. So instead of just realizing that and being really honest with themselves, which is hard, they're just like, oh, well, that's just not right. That's just, what I'm doing is all good. That's just not right.
Two things. Like, one, I've been hypothesizing about this recently. What I reckon part of it is there's heaps of intelligent people that get really fucked off by action takers who aren't potentially as smart as them, or like they believe, I could be doing better than that person, but they're not. So it's really frustrating. So they've got to let them know, like, this information's wrong. You missed this. Like, you said that word, or you don't know the difference between this. So I need to let you know, because they've got to have that sense of importance of, and we'll even see it with accountants commenting on our stuff,
Really?
Where it's like, this example is wrong. You forgot to say this. And it's like, bro, it's about GST, not income tax anyway, man. What are you talking about? But so I think there's a little bit of that whole, we all want to feel important. So then social media drags out the people who they still want to feel like that, but they do it by telling somebody else, I'm more smarter than you, so I should let you know that therefore your whole thing doesn't really matter because you made a mistake, or you spelt that wrong, or whatever. I find that so fascinating. I think, man, it must be so frustrating for them.
Yeah.
Seeing,
I think about that too.
Yeah.
Like, what is that person's life experiences and everything, that's their first reaction?
Yeah.
That must suck.
Yeah.
It must suck to feel, to just, because it's like jealousy and there's all those emotions mixed up with it. It must suck.
Oh, mate. Yeah. And James from Lighthouse Financial talks about it quite a lot, where they'll have these like highly intelligent people come in and they'll know more than he will, and they'll still end up like struggling because they'll never take any action.
Right. Yeah, action trumps everything.
Yeah, and I think it's going to become increasingly frustrating for people, because if you think about what's happened, like, it's gone from, okay, we have to go to the library to learn stuff, to, okay, now we can like learn from other business owners online. I can watch some YouTube and see what someone else is doing, learn from those lessons. I can access a podcast, and someone might get off here and go, bang, I need to get some more Google reviews, and they'll insert your process, they'll do that, but then someone else will come along and go, fuck, how does he have more Google reviews than me? We're way better company. That's bullshit, man. They must what are they doing? They must be gamifying. They must be, it's because they're running a competition. You're not supposed to do that, and then they end up there with this anger and frustration instead of, we probably need to get some Google reviews, eh?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're like
inspired by it.
Yeah, intelligence like leads to frustration instead of, sheesh, the person less intelligent than me is doing more and they're gonna, my whole point is basically the action takers are going to get even more of the pie, and that's going to become increasingly even more frustrating, like, for people.
Yeah, you reckon that's been like that through history? It has been, right?
I assume so.
Like, risk takers.
Yeah. And
I mean, you don't have to take a risk to take action, but just do something.
The other thing too is that I reckon where we're going is, I was saying to, who was I telling the other day? I was watching a jockey, a horse jockey, and he was saying that, like, he didn't really grow up around it. He's highly successful now, won a lot of big races, provided for his family. He said kind of the same thing about you. One thing he's really proud of is the life he's been able to create for his kids and whatnot. And then he was kind of saying, some of the interviewer was like, what advice would you have for somebody who's looking to get into it? And he's like, it's just hard work. And I was saying to my mate, man, that advice doesn't work anymore, because people will be like, well, that's not, like, where's the substance to that? But he went on to basically say, you've just got to do the reps. And I said to my mate, because we've both been doing what we've been doing for quite some time, was like, people can't hear that anymore, because what I think he's trying to say is, like, just do the reps and just keep going. And he's been doing it for ages. And the longer that you do something, you naturally start to go beyond those who aren't willing to do it for a time. Right. And we're so like, I'll do it for 2 years and then jump out, or I did email marketing for 3 months and it didn't work, therefore we don't do it. But then the person who did it for 3 years is like, that's a no-brainer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so the more we do things that work, you end up getting so much further ahead than these people who give up.
Right.
Because we live in this world of, it's hard now, so I might go to Australia, say. But then eventually I might come back, I've got to rebuild myself, might have a bit more capital, but no one knows who I am. So you might be the best carpenter in New Zealand now because you learned it in Australia, but doesn't matter because no one knows you existed. You're still going to have to build your profile.
Totally.
Yeah. Anyway, mate, that's a bit of a tangent there. We can do that. We'll get us out of here because I think we might be approaching the hour mark. But what excites you most about the future of your business now? You know, like you've come a long way already, but what's next for you?
What's next? More of the same, I guess. We are, you know, we've got a product that we're developing. Interesting that I put that in there.
Yeah.
I didn't remember doing that.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've got a product that we're developing that's really cool. That's all new. That's all different skill sets there and like all different learnings too. Yeah, more of the same. I think the plan is to be an industry leader, right? And that's really leaning more into the industry like that as well. And being a part of, you know, I'm going to Melbourne end of next week. They're going to the Australasian Timber Flooring Association Gala and some associated training and workshops and stuff like that. And so just continue to keep pushing, continue to be, and to me, an industry leader is like an innovator, trying new products, trying new techniques. You know, we don't need to always get bogged down in the same, it's the way we've always done it, you know, like, and that also keeps it fun. And continue to grow the team. I don't think we need to be a massive company. In fact, I don't want to be too big. I still want to have my hand in, you know, in all the different processes. And I guess eventually building something that potentially someone might one day want to buy, you know, and I think it's important to have kind of that in mind, I guess, you know.
Yeah.
If we wanted that option.
And that's the importance of building brand along the way too, right? And that's 100%. What you've been really focused on. Yeah. Do you feel like as the years go on and as you find more data of what works and you build the brand and you have the right types of clients and whatnot, that the planning side of it almost gets, not say boring, but that's probably a better way to, it's easier because you realize there's less to do. When early on with the business, it's like, okay, I feel like there's all these things I have to do. But then you start realizing the more that you say no to and you stick to these things and stay in your lane, the whole thing just snowballs on itself and people come along, have you got any big plans? And you're kind of like, I just got to do more of what's already been
what's
doing.
Working right now. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Don't get that shiny object syndrome, you know, like you talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember at the start, and probably what I was talking about there was just having like all these ideas and just being like, we could go here, we could do this, we could do that.
Yeah.
And then, like you say, you kind of start to refine that down a bit and you're like, okay, so these things are actually really profitable. Let's double down on that. Let's be really, really bloody good at this. And then the work keeps coming in. And so it's like, well, let's keep doing this. Like this is the whole point of building the business, right?
Yeah.
is to be like to have a system that works and it's working. I still want to be innovative. I can be innovative within that, but I don't need to be like, we're going to do carpet now and we're going to do, we're doing this and we're going to do that and we're going to, that's what I think. I always wanted to just niche. Like this is just get really, really good at one thing, you know?
Yeah, I think that creates profit too. Like I think it's because the more you dive into something new and whatnot, that takes you off on a massive tangent. You know, you just churn through the profit from the other side.
Yeah, capital gone, but also your mental. Yeah. That's probably the biggest
energy.
thing too.
Yeah. Hey, I'll take you back before we get out of here. We ask you critical issues to be addressed in the next 12 months. I just thought it could be interesting for you to see what you were thinking about. So understanding my numbers and how my business is tracking financially. Number 2, staff recruitment and training. So like tick. Getting my face and the brand out there and chasing clients. Tick. Understanding my numbers and how my business, you've doubled up on that. Where do we go from here and in what order? Crazy that like those were your critical issues to be addressed in the next 12 months, right?
Yeah.
You know, but then you get on top of those things and then everything becomes so much easier.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
It does. Yeah, hearing you read that out, takes me back to that person.
Yeah.
And I was quite anxious.
Yeah.
And scattered and just really you don't know what you don't know. I was a tradie, not a business owner.
Yeah, true.
And I was a tradie learning to be a business owner. So that's probably like one big change that I would say now. I identify. I am a business owner. If someone asks me, hey, what do you do for a crust? I say, I own this business.
Nice.
I don't say, I just lay timber floors or whatever it is. I'm
nice.
like, I own abstract timber floors. That's my job.
Yeah.
That's what I do. It feels good,
Love it. And then what vulnerabilities do you need to manage in your business? Cash flow through this period of growth, Google and social media visibility compared to other similar businesses, word of mouth in the region, small industry and a bad rep spreads like wildfire. Yeah.
Totally.
I think you've managed all of that pretty well.
I think I smashed all of that, to be honest. Yeah.
Yeah. It's cool to look back at that, and see.
It's really cool.
Yeah, what you were thinking about, and I mean, it's been bloody impressive, mate, to watch you just grab the bull by the horns and keep making progress, and I'm sure you will.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. I appreciate having you on my team.
Nice.
That's really, I feel like I've got a really good team of professionals that like surround the business, and you're a big part of that. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries, mate. It's an honour. If people want to find you, how do they do that? So there's website and Instagram. The Instagram is always a good watch. So look you up at how do we find you? I'll chuck it into the show notes as well.
At abstract.floors.
Cool.
And then website is abstractfloors.co.nz. But yeah, Instagram, we're really active on Instagram.
Yeah, nice.
And on the stories,
Do you, for tradies and people in construction and stuff, and just business in general, it would go, hang on, how does a flooring business, how do you, surely that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Any quick, actually, we've won this job from it, or it's part of branding, to convince someone that they need to be doing it. And again, not for 3 months, for 3 years or maybe for 6.
Yeah, totally. Document, what is it? Document.
Don't create.
Don't create. Yeah, I think that's and you might say, flooring is not, but it's actually perfect because there's a before and an after, and that's what people love to see. So visually, it's a visual. What I do is hugely visual.
Yeah.
Aesthetic is a huge part of it. So I try and lean into more of the architectural kind of look of some stuff. I mean, we post a bunch of different stuff, but yeah, I think probably document what you're doing because people want to see it, and there's always, Stan Henry's there's no stadium.
Yeah.
That has stuck in my head. There is no stadium of people just waiting for you to make that post. No one cares. That's equally the best and worst thing about social media is that it's just so transient. It comes and it goes. So just keep just have a crack.
Yeah.
And then I think you kind of find a bit of authenticity in what you do, and then people are like, oh, this person's real passionate about, I don't know, tiling, plumbing, whatever it is. If you can kind of, instead of showing this is our products and these are us doing the thing, this is how great they are. It's more like, we are passionate guys and we do this and we work in this beautiful part of the country, and it's sort of like the whole story, you're telling the whole story.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I could talk about that. So I think that side's super important. We have definitely got a lot of work from our social.
Brilliant.
Not direct DMs, but it's for us, builders are a big client base.
Yeah.
Or lead.
Generator.
Generator, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. All that. Builders are huge for us.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the time they're they're following. I can see who's watching my stories. And there's heaps of builders, heaps of architects, heaps of people that are in the industry. And it's just an excuse to just be front of mind always. Just hey, that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. Yeah. I'm not sitting there creating for hours, crafting the perfect. It's this is cool. This is what we're doing. And it just, I think it builds momentum.
And just create a habit and just stay consistent with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the key to everything, right?
Yeah.
The key to life.
Simple as that. But also it, going back to your vulnerability and what you're worried about, it's if you don't get your name out there in the region, well, then you're actually actively doing something to then break down that belief. Or then, if you are building up a following of people and builders, well, then I can't worry as much about not being known in the Bay of Plenty because I'm building a following and people are watching.
Yeah. Reduces that anxiety.
Yeah. Nice, mate. Well, we'll have to do another check-in in a couple of years and see where you've got to.
That'd be good.
I'm sure there'll be a lot of gold nuggets in there for people, mate, especially you're a bit further down the path and some people who may be listening, but they can keep an eye on what you're up to as well. But thanks for giving up your time.
Most welcome. Thanks, man.